Hi guys, it's your girl Gerlinda. I'm back again today with another video. You guys, today I want to talk to you about something that I feel like is very, very important. And it's something that I think you guys need to do sooner rather than later if you're not doing it already. So yeah, we're going to have a talk today. So stay tuned. Also, today guys is February 14th, which means it's Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm cleaning my house up, cleaning up my kitchen, as a matter of fact, and I'm eating conversation hearts. They're my favorite. So, especially at on Valentine's Day. Gotta have conversation hearts on Valentine's Day. There's no way that you can't. These, I have to say that the quality of these are not what I remember. Taste the same, but look at the stamp. I think that says my hero. I'm not sure what it says. That's what I mean. I can't read any of them. Look at this one. Unreadable. This one, a little better. It says true love. Tastes the same though. But anyway, I'm going to go in my kitchen and finish cleaning. We're going to have a talk. Something that's very important we need to talk about. Okay guys, so I'm in my kitchen. Gonna go ahead and finish up these dishes that I have in the sink here. And is anybody else having kind of a weird first few months of the year? I am. I mean, there's been some strange things that have happened that was very unexpected and just kind of started with the end of the year. Kind of started right before Christmas. Some strange things that, I'd rather not go into detail about, but just kind of ruined the new year for me and kind of ruined things for me as far as, the plans that I may have had for my new year. So I haven't posted because I've been dealing with a few things that have been very time consuming and something that I can't not do, and it's not something I want to share, so I just, what I wanted to talk to you guys about is just something totally different though from that. Basically, that has nothing to do with how my new year has started and how my year ended last year. This is just something that I have thought about and have seen happen in the past. Have you guys ever been in a situation where you've seen or lost a loved one and they not have insurance, like life insurance policy, to be able to do what they need to do at the end, which is kind of a thing that people don't like to talk about, but end of life situation where you life is over, you've died, and there needs to be a memorial. And if there's no insurance to do that, a lot of times it's left for the family to figure out how to come up with this money to memorialize you, to give you a funeral and, take care of your final expenses. So I've seen it happen more than once in my own family and others' families. And it's just something I think needs to be a little more talked about. Nobody likes to talk about the subject. It's a hard subject to talk about, a hard subject to bring up. But it's something that's very important. And it's something that should be important to you personally, for yourself. Not so much for your family, for your own self. To know that you'll be taken care of if that time ever comes, which it will. It comes for everybody. It comes for everybody. You just don't know when. So you have to be prepared for it. And it's not fair. I don't think it's fair to your family to leave them with that burden of trying to figure out, how am I going to do this? Where's the money going to come from to get this done? It's something that has to be done. And just thinking about it and have seen it happen before makes me want to make awareness of it and kind of get it out so that people are more comfortable talking about this subject or talking about this situation that can happen. And what I don't quite understand about it is that it's so easy to get nowadays to get a life insurance policy. There are companies that don't even do health checks or anything. You just pay in to your life insurance policy, and it's just insurance that you'll have money when that end time comes, that you will be taken care of, and that you will be either buried and memorialized that way, or cremated and memorialized that way. At least people will be able to do the best they can for you at that time. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, and a lot of people are afraid to let other people get insurance policies for them because they're afraid that they watch a lot of movies, and sometimes on movies people get it, and sometimes in real life people do that. But you get with somebody you trust to get an insurance policy with that's going to do right by you when that time comes. So yeah, guys, when that time comes, you want to be prepared. And it's not something that you should put on your family members or close friends, or, I see a lot of people who don't have insurance, and the family has to make a GoFundMe account for people to help. But I just think it's a huge disadvantage, or not a disadvantage, kind of a huge, I don't know, it just puts a lot on the family when that time comes. The family's already grieving. The family's upset that you're gone. The family and close friends are mourning. And to have that another, I don't want to say burden, but to have another worry on them. They're already grieving over your death, over the loss of you. To put on to them a financial burden, I can call it that, to put you away or have you buried, memorialized financially. If they're not able to do that, then it is a burden. It's something that I respect myself more than that. I wouldn't want to put that, and I love my family more than that. I love them to the point where I wouldn't want them to worry about how to take care of my final expenses. I've done this. I've taken care of myself. This just a scenario. I've taken care of myself all my life, paid my own bills, lived on my own. And then when I die, I expect them to come up with thousands of dollars to give me a memorial. That's not fair, you guys. It's just not fair. It's not fair to your family and your close friends. And, it's just not fair. And it's not their responsibility. I hate to say it now. People, like, if you have children, it is your responsibility until they're adults who can pay for their own or have their own life insurance policy. Most insurance companies will carry your children until a certain age, maybe 18, maybe 21. I don't know. It just depends on the insurance company. They will carry your children under your insurance they have their own insurance, but you can get it for them until they're 18 years old or 21. I think it's 18 or 21, depending on the insurance company. I suggest all parents do that, because even children, I hate to say it, die. They can die for many, many reasons. But they're not adults, so they don't have their own insurance yet. That's your responsibility as a parent, to have insurance on your children. life insurance. And again, let me reiterate what life insurance means. It's insurance for that you pay into, you pay monthly. And if something happens to you and you die, the insurance company pays you, gives you a check. And usually people use that check to do a memorial for you, a funeral. And in the funeral, there entails a lot, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars. Upwards, I'm going to say the minimum $10,000. At the minimum, it's going to be $10,000 to do all the things that it takes to have a funeral, down to the minimum of things that has to be done. You're gonna be looking at minimal $10,000. So it can be upwards of $10,000. It can be more than that. So insurance is very important, you guys. I don't know a lot of people that have $10,000 just laying around that they can just bury somebody with. It's like, oh, when the time comes, it's like, oh, don't worry about it. I have $10,000. I can bury whomever. That's not realistic. So it's really irresponsible for someone not to have insurance, because looking into it, when I made this video, I looked into a lot of different companies, a lot of insurance policies, the way it works. And I will, at the end of this video, give you guys some references of some insurance companies that you can go to get insurance if you don't have it. Now, a lot of people I know have insurance, life insurance and medical insurance and stuff through their jobs. If you don't have it through your job, that's a good way to get life insurance and medical insurance is through your job. Go to your HR department and talk to whoever's in charge of that type of thing, that's in charge of insurance and comprehensive insurance and, you know, all the insurance things. You go to whoever that is at your job, usually in the HR department, talk to them, tell them you want to get insurance. Now, this will come out of your paycheck. The monthly payments, the installments, however they do it, will come out of your paycheck. And it's so simple. I think it's a little pricey when you do it that way. It's probably less expensive if you did it separate from your job. But if you don't know how to do it, you don't know any other way to do it, that's a way to do it. Go to your HR department at your job and tell them you want to have them draft insurance payments out of your paycheck. Life insurance, just depends on whatever you need. If you need life insurance and medical insurance, you can get that through your job. Now, if you're not going to do it through your job, then you just need to look at some companies and see what you need, and see what the different companies offer. Now, I know that Colonial Penn, which is a huge insurance company, they run an ad on TV that it is $9.95 no matter what. If you're age 50 and up, you can get Colonial Penn. You can get a policy through them that is $9.95 a month. And that is, you guys, you go to McDonald's and you spend $9.95 probably 2 or 3 times a week. So $9.95 on insurance, to get that insurance and know that you have the security of when that time comes, you're taken care of. It's worth it, you guys. It's well worth it. Now, that's one I recommend for people who are 50 and up. And there is, if you need insurance for your child, there is a insurance company called Gerber Life, and they have very reasonable policy, plans with their policy, their life insurance policy. I'm gonna put, like I said at the end of the video, I'm gonna put up some resources with some websites you guys can go to, some phone numbers you can call, and let you know what their minimum amount is for a policy with them for life insurance or health insurance, whichever one you need for your family or for your children. And then there are abundance of them that you can call and just tell them what you're doing. If you're going to do you and your children together, if you want to do a whole family, they have plans that will cover that. Now, again, back to people being afraid to get insurance, because there are a lot of situations where people have, I hate to say it, people have killed people for insurance policies. So it makes people a little nervous, and I get it, to even talk about having insurance taken out on you. I just say, what I recommend people do is find the person you trust the most. If it's a family member or a close friend, talk to them, and if you trust them, only have them be your beneficiary. Now, beneficiary is the person that you're going to name in your policy to be able to collect the money when something happens to you. Now, I recommend think hard about this beneficiary. Make sure you know who you're leaving beneficiary, because you got to know who you're leaving in charge of this, because some people will not do right by you at the end. You're not here anymore, so they're not going to, make sure it's somebody that's going to listen to what you want. And when you do this, have the whole talk with them. Have the whole talk about what you want when your day comes, when you die, and you, down to if you want purple socks on. When you die and you want purple socks on in your casket, express this to them so that they know. And then you might even go as far as to write it down. And I hear from my attorney, I went to my attorney and had some stuff written up. So it's binding. That means it's by law. This is what I need done. This is what I want done at the end of my life when I die. So my beneficiary will know that this is what I want, and it's binding by law that this is what I want. So, that's a way to do it. You can go to your attorney and write up a whole, when you have assets and you have things that are valuable that you want to leave to certain people, or homes or cars or whatever you want to, if you have assets that you want to leave to people, do not just write it down and have it notarized, because it's not binding. It's not binding. The only thing that's binding is if you go to your attorney or go to a attorney and have them write up something, and it's then lawful. And so I don't recommend just writing down something. You can, if you trust people, and if you're really close to people and they love you and you know they love you and you love them, and there's this trust, there's this mutual trust, then just tell them verbally, or leave a video stating what you want. Make a video just like I'm making a video now. Hit record on your phone and stand there and tell people what you want. And then if you trust somebody, if the people are trustworthy in your family, or in, close friends that are trustworthy, they will honor what you want, then do it that way. Leave a video, write a letter to the beneficiary or to one of your family members that knows what you want, so somebody knows what you want. Like I said, if you want purple socks on in your casket when you die, then the people around you should honor that, because that's what you want. That's what you want at the end of your life, the end of your time. That's just an example. I just, again, back to people not doing, there are people that will do the opposite and not do what you want to save money. They'll save money. They may do something like, say, you don't believe in being cremated, but cremation is cheaper than having a funeral. So you get people that might give you a cremation, which when you didn't want a cremation, you wanted a funeral. So you have to be very careful, again, about who you leave beneficiary to, what happens at the end of your life. Who you have, you and your, who you leave it up to. You got to be very, very, very careful about that, and make sure that you trust this person. because there are people who are not right, and nobody knows it until they do something that lets you know they're not right. So you have people that are a little crooked, a little, fraudulent. You have to be careful of those people. That's why I say make sure it's somebody you trust. Because there have been times, I've seen it on TV before, and I've heard of it in the news before, where people take out an insurance policy on you, you come up dead somehow, and they reap the benefits. They take the money and run. And then they don't even take care of you the way they were supposed to, or the way you wanted it to be. So make sure you trust the person you leave your life in the hands of, because some people out there are not right. So you have to be very careful of that. I recommend you pick out a person that you trust. Have them be your beneficiary. Talk to them and let them know that's what you want. And talk to them and let them know what you want down to your socks on the day that they bury you. Or, if you're cremated, you want to be cremated, you let them know that. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, the difference in being cremated and being buried. Like I said, a funeral, for you to be buried, it's going to cost you upwards of $10,000. Minimum $10,000 to $12,000. Easy. So the other option you have is cremation, which a minimum of about $800. My family really never had cremations. We've always been the family that did funerals. So, and the only time that there was a cremation is because we ran into a situation where maybe somebody didn't have insurance and the family had to come together to scrape up the money to memorialize them. And that's really a hard thing to do, just because, you're already grieving, and then to have the strain of worrying about how to bury someone or how to put someone away and memorialize them in a dignified way. It leaves you in a tough situation. It's really a really tough situation to be in. And myself personally, I would never put somebody in that situation. I would respect myself enough not to put somebody in that situation, and respect them as well enough not to do that. So again, you guys, I know it's something you don't really want to think about, something you really don't want to have a talk about, but I really recommend sitting around one day with your family, when you're having dinner or just a time that you all are together, have that conversation. Have that conversation, because it is a very important one. Again, like I said, on the TV shows, everybody's afraid of that, because on TV shows, and maybe, I watch a lot of true crime story shows. So I've seen a lot of times where people actually kill people for insurance money. And that's horrible. That's horrible. And anybody that does that, I hope they get their punishment for it, and get caught in their crime, so that they have to pay for that, because that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's sad, and I just don't understand how a person could do that, but it does happen. So that's another reason why people are afraid, that if they don't trust their surroundings, the people that they're around, they don't want to trust somebody to be a beneficiary, because they're afraid that that's what they may do. It's sad that that's even a worry that people have, but it is, and I get it. But again, find somebody you really, really trust. Have that conversation with them. Make them the beneficiary of your estate or your insurance policy, so that they will have access to monies that you've paid in to, take care of their final expenses, and to put themselves away in a dignified way. Also, if you feel like you need to go to an attorney to write up a last will and testament. Do that. It's a little pricey from what I can gather. They could probably start around $500 or more to get your attorney to write up a will and testament, last will and testament. And that will have in it what you want done. If you have the finances and you have money saved and you can afford to do all of that you need to do, but you need to be able to trust the person that you leave in charge to handle your estate after you've passed on. And then have that will and testament wrote up for their security, for their rights, so that they have rights to do that for you. And then if you don't do a will and testament, and you have a family member or a close friend that you trust, to have an insurance policy out on you, then do that. And that will cover if something happens to you and you pass on and they need to bury you, they'll have the money and the resources to do that. So very important, you guys. This is something that we hardly ever talk about, but it's a conversation to have sooner rather than later, because if you don't do it in time and it happens and you're in that situation, boom, you're in that situation. You never know when it's going to happen, but you'll end up in that situation if you wait around and wait. And what are we waiting on? Just make that happen. Sign up for an insurance policy. And like I said, they're pennies on the dollar. It's just, they don't cost very much. The insurance policy that I have started out years ago, like $6 and something. And that's how low it can start out, and the kind that I have, it goes up periodically. And so now at this point, I'm paying like maybe $20 or more, $20 or so a month. And $20, I will go to the candy store and buy $20 worth of candy. So if I can buy $20 worth of candy, I can go and spend $20 on my life insurance policy that's going to take care of me when I'm gone. I have beneficiaries that I trust on my insurance policy, and I will be looking for them to do exactly what I asked them to do when it happens, if it happens ever. And I know it will, because that's a debt that we all have to pay. I've heard my mom say that so many times in life, that dying is a debt that we all have to pay. We just don't know when it's going to happen, but we will have to do it. So definitely, you guys, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but this is a conversation that needs to be had within your family, and everybody in your family should be covered. And if it's a chance that somebody may not be able to afford to be covered, then you have that conversation with somebody who could afford to pay it for you, just so that you have it. So I'm not going to be preachy. I don't like to be preached to, but I do like to be enlightened and be educated on things that I'm not, that I don't normally talk about. And I'm sure that there are people out there like me that probably don't have this conversation, don't want to have it, scared to have it, or whatever the situation may be. But it's definitely something you need to talk about with your families. So I love you guys. And I just care about people, and I care that this doesn't happen to people. I don't want that to happen to people. I don't want people to be thrown off or just unaware that, this can happen at any time. At any given time, somebody in your family could go away. God forbid. I hope it never happens, but I do know that it will happen, and it does happen. So be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Be prepared. Take a look at the resources I left, and make that call today and get that done, and you'll feel so much better about things. Just makes you feel secure, that that if it comes to that day, when that day comes, you're prepared. and you're ready for whatever is ahead of you. So yeah, that was kind of a hard conversation to have, but I think I needed to have it with you guys because I want you guys to be, you know, just be prepared. That's all. And I will see you guys in the next video. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please go down and hit the subscribe button. Also hit your notification bell so you're notified every time I post a video and you won't miss any of my videos. And there'll be a lot of times that we'll have talks like this. I have a lot of things on my mind. And I just want to share them with you and kind of get you guys, everybody, some people know this stuff already. I get it. Some people know this, and I'm not trying to be somebody that tells you what to do, but just hear me out when I say things like this. So guys, another option could be your local funeral home. Some of them will work with the families and finance the total amount. I don't know. It just depends on your funeral home, if they do that or not, but that is sometimes an option. They will work with you on your total amount and just let you finance it until you're done paying for it. So that's another option. So just keep that in mind. Okay, yeah, and guys, also check me out on TikTok. I'm Gerlinda Gray on TikTok. So check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and guys, please make sure, don't just watch the video here on YouTube. Subscribe, and you'll hear everything I have to say. Subscribe and also like and comment on my videos. I'd really appreciate it. It helps me out if you guys do that. Helps me grow, and I would really appreciate it. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye. Don't forget to check out those resources I have concerning life insurance. Thank you. Bye. Love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day.